Thank you, Reverend. That's a tough act to follow, but I'm going to turn it over to somebody that's going to try. Tom Newmark, please.
Thank you, that was beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, I don't think I had to pick the order of the speakers. I shouldn't have put myself after Reverend Nim. All right, so tonight I'm going to cover 3 topics: the offering of an olive branch to our opponents, the evidence supporting transparency in education's policy, and the protection of parental rights. First, thanks to Unteach.net supporters, both here and around the world. These include Concerned Parents of Carroll County, Transparency in Education, In Defense of Children, GenSpect, Our Duty, Moms for Liberty, Voices for Freedom, Resist Gender Education, they're in New Zealand, by the way, the Lesbian Appreciation Society of Ireland, and the Gender Dysphoria Support Network. Those last 2 are actually led by transgender people who support our position. First, the olive branch. To our opponents, we have more in common than you might think. Transparency in Education's policy says schools should offer a non-judgmental environment for students experiencing gender dysphoria, making every effort to destigmatize it, to show acceptance and comfort in dealing with gender issues, and to create a safe environment for students. We love transgender and gender nonconforming people. We simply disagree with the parts of the FCPS's current policy which violates parental rights and don't provide enough support for students experiencing gender distress. In a nation increasingly divided, we have consistently reached out to the Frederick Center and other groups to find common ground, but they have refused to meet with us for 7 months. They continue to label anyone who disagrees with them as hateful, rather than debating the specifics of our policy. To those against our policy, we are your neighbors. The moms and dads testifying in support of our policy have been nothing but kind to you. Please consider treating them the same way. The second topic I would like to cover is the evidence supporting Transparency in Education's proposed policy. This proposal is not a part of a culture war against transgender people. It is a response to a worldwide medical scandal and a school's violation of parental rights. FCPS's current policy recognizes the right of every student to be referred to by their preferred name and pronoun. That means the children have a right to enlist school staff in overruling parents and keeping secrets from them, even if the child's doctor and psychologist and parents write letters to the school stating school staff should not conduct a social transition. The current policy is governmental overreach at its worst.
Yes.
According to 12 studies, most young children experiencing gender dysphoria grow comfortable with biological sex if allowed to go through a natural puberty in the absence of a social transition. However, research also shows us that when the affirmative approach is adopted, most minors end up identifying as transgender. Using a minor's preferred name and pronouns is not a neutral act of respect, but a powerful intervention that actually changes identity outcomes. Schools should remain neutral with regard to identity outcomes. School personnel should not steer children towards a transgender identity, nor should school personnel steer children away from a transgender identity. Rather, school faculty and staff should respect parents' rights and work with and not against parents for whatever the parents want to do. And finally, I'd like to ensure, thank you guys so much. Finally, I'd like to ensure that parents realize where all of this is headed. California recently passed a bill just last week allowing the state to remove from parental custody children whose parents don't affirm the child's gender identity. Canada passed a similar law, and a father, his name is Rob Hoogland, you can look it up, was sent to jail because he referred to his biologically female daughter as his daughter. And he did not consent to her medical transition that would render her permanently sterile. As Maryland often follows the footprints laid by California, it is reasonable to think that we will soon be seeing bills in Annapolis which force parents to either follow an experimental course of treatment for their gender dysphoric children or lose custody of the child. Parents, you should know that the age of consent to mental health treatment in Maryland has recently been lowered to age 12. And more community health centers, we already have them here in FCPS, more community health centers are planned to be added to the existing ones that already are here in our public schools. That means that affirmative care could literally be down the hallway from your child's classroom. Parents, you are going to need to be vigilant. Parents, actions must be taken to unteach schools overreach. If nothing is done, schools will continue. They will continue to violate your parental rights. We are asking right now that parents make a commitment to support parental rights. We're asking parents across the world to take the action every second Thursday of each month. Take your kids out of school, write a letter to the board, do something every second Thursday of every month. We're asking parents to say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now, let me ask you, are you ready? Are you ready to join this fight? Thank you. We're looking forward to working with you to unteach the overreach.